Welcome everybody to Go Local Live. I'm Josh Fenton, CEO and co-founder. A little bit of news today. Rhode Island Department of Labor and Training announced that unemployment has risen to 17%, and those are only through last month's numbers. So obviously, sadly, those numbers are going to continue to rise. Today's schedule, we're going to go over to Sojouner House in 1 second. At 12 noon, we've got Dr. Michael Fine. And at 1 o'clock, we've got dueling events. We'll be broadcasting both Governor Gina Raimondo's press conference at 1 p.m. and also Dennis DeJesus as well. He's the head of Special Olympics Rhode Island, and he's obviously got some important messages about how he's trying to serve his constituency. But let's go to Vanessa Volz at Sojourner House. Vanessa, thanks so much for joining us.
Hi, thank you for having me.
So listen, we're in this untouched time as never before. We're in this period in which folks are locked down in their homes. Sometimes that's a great thing for people's relationships, and in other cases, it's a very unhealthy situation. Talk about what trends you're seeing.
Well, absolutely. For someone who is in an abusive relationship and living with their abuser, this is not the safest time for them. And we are experiencing that at Sojourner House. Sojourner House, we're a comprehensive domestic and sexual violence agency, and we provide housing, shelter, and supportive services. And since the pandemic started, we have seen a pretty large increase in requests for our assistance. And so we're really trying to do our best to meet that need. We're getting more calls on our hotline. We're getting more requests for shelter and housing, for counseling. A lot of people are in situations that are not safe, and we're trying to be there as a resource.
How many folks can your organization serve at a time?
Well, that's a good question, and it really depends on which program you're looking at, because we do run a wide range of programs. We have a counseling program where we can provide licensed clinical support. We have emergency shelters, so we have 3 separate emergency shelters for individuals that are in immediate crisis and need stabilization. We have a transitional housing program, a permanent supportive housing program, and a rapid rehousing program, which are longer term housing programs. And between those housing programs, we have 100 families in different apartments. So it really just kind of depends what service the individual is reaching out, seeking help for. But across programs, unfortunately, we usually have a waiting list. We are receiving more requests for services than we're able to accommodate.
Let's talk about the counseling services. Are those now taking place on Zoom?
They are, yes. So either by phone or by video, depending on the preference of the client. We used to just provide in-person counseling, and now everything has been moved to phone or video. And for the most part, it's working pretty well. And we've actually seen an increase in requests for help. During the month of April, which is the most recent data we have, we saw a 30% increase for our counseling services. So we've been trying to accommodate that need too.
All those requests are up and to the right. How do you deal with people who are in emergency situations that literally are not in an unsafe environment? How can you help them?
So we have a hotline that individuals can call and speak to a live advocate, and we can help them assess the dangerousness of their situation, and we can help them safety plan to safety. And depending on the availability of our programs, we can sometimes bring an individual or their family into one of our shelters. If it's not immediate in terms of it's not like they need somewhere to go tonight, we can help them apply for housing through our housing program. And we can also assist them if we're not able to provide them with help in that moment. We can help connect them to other agencies that might have the capacity. So we can do what are called directed referrals and follow up and make sure that they're getting the assistance that they need.
What does Sojourner House need during this period of time?
Well, that's a great question. Thank you for asking that. So as I've explained, we are receiving an unprecedented amount of requests for help. So in response to the pandemic and the needs of our clients, we set up a client emergency fund. It's accessible on our website, sojournerri.org. And the purpose of this fund is to raise money to meet the needs of our clients during this difficult time. So we're getting more requests for rental assistance. So for our clients that are safely housed, but they've lost income, we want to make sure that they can stay in their apartment and and not have to go back to their abuser. So we're trying to bring in funds to cover rental assistance. We have more clients reaching out to us for basic needs, for food, for infant formula, for diapers. So we're trying to raise funds to meet the needs of those clients. So that's probably the number one reason, the number one way that individuals can help support us is by donating to the emergency fund. But we also have individuals that might donate gift cards or might donate actual items. I mentioned diapers and infant formula. We can always use those. So those are items that we definitely have a need for at this time.
How is the mental health of your staff? This is going on. I describe it when people ask about it. I say, from a news standpoint, it's election night for 70 straight days. It is relentless. It does not stop. It's 24/7. You get calls at all hours of the day and night, and a lot of the things that folks touch us about are really important issues. How is your team holding up?
That's a great question. And we do have a really great team at Sojourner House. And we're doing a lot to try to stay connected, even though most of us are working remotely. So we have regular check-ins. We're doing staff trainings once a week so we can see each other's faces, even if it's only online. And we're talking a lot about self-care. We're talking a lot about how do you set up boundaries. People are working different hours due to childcare responsibilities or their own, personal situation. And so it can be easy for work to just be in the work mode all the time. So we're having a lot of conversations about, make sure that there comes a time where you're shutting your laptop down and you're not checking your email and you're recharging your batteries. And I say this to my staff a lot, you need to rest up because we got to do this again tomorrow or we got to do this again next week. The requests for services are still coming in. So it's vitally important that our staff are refreshed and feel supported during this difficult time.
If somebody wants to make a donation, tell us exactly how to do it.
Absolutely. There's a link directly on our website. So if you go to sojournerri.org, there's a donate button and you can just fill it out from there.
Great. I'll give you the last word. What do Rhode Islanders need to know about this period of time and the issue of domestic violence?
So my message has been that domestic violence is not going to go away when the coronavirus is a memory of ours. We were unable to meet all the requests for help before the pandemic, and we're going to continue to struggle to meet the demand for help when the coronavirus is not an issue anymore. So just to remember that a lot of people experience abuse in their relationship, and there is help out there, and we're here as a support.
Vanessa Volz, Sojouner House, doing great work in the Rhode Island community. I want to thank you for joining us. For everybody else, 12 o'clock, Dr. Fine, 1 o'clock, dueling Governor Gina Raimondo and Dennis DeJesus from Special Olympics. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you shortly. Please stay safe.